Welcome everybody, and today we're taking a look at another 4K release from StudioCanal as part of their cult classics line, and it is 1973's The Counsellor, also known as Counsellor at Crime. So this is directed by Alberto De Martino, who also did the amazing film Blazing Magnum, also known as Shadows in an Empty Room, which StudioCanal also released, and he also did the Antichrist, which was the Exorcist knockoff from the 70s, which StudioCanal also released on Blu-ray as well. So this is a crime film that clocks in at 102 minutes long. Stars the likes of Martin Balsam, who I've seen it in 25 other films. Favourites would be the likes of Psycho, the original The Taking of Pelham 123, 7 Days in May, the original Cape Fear, and Confessions of a Police Captain. We've also got Thomas Milian, who I've seen in 10 other films. He's most well known probably for doing these kind of films as well throughout the 70s. So the likes of Brothers Till We Die, Freehand for a Tough Cop, Silent Action, Destruction Force, and Rome Armed to the Teeth. But he did also venture outside of the crime genre with the likes of the Giallo, Don't Torture a Duckling, and the spaghetti western The Big Gun Down. You've also got Francisco Rabal, who was in the likes of Sorcerer, and the Iron Prefect, also known as I Am the Law. So following a stint in prison, Ricardo, the counselor to San Francisco's crime lord Don Antonio, reluctantly agrees, and in order to doing so, requests to leave the family in order to live a normal life. Don Antonio reluctantly agrees to let him do that, but in doing so breaks the mafia code that no one can leave the business until they drop dead. As the resulting gang war escalates in violence and increasingly brings Don Antonio's life under threat, Ricardo returns once again to defend and serve his godfather. So, unlike Weapons of Death, this is a lot more serious in its tone and, quite frankly, less insane, which certainly means this isn't quite as entertaining as an effort, but ultimately the plot to this is a lot more satisfying, as this actually really does have a plot, whereas Weapons of Death does have a minimal amount of plot, just to basically string together all these, quite frankly, insane scenes. And what action is here, though, is also still great. The three leads are also excellent, with Milian in particular being noticeably more restrained than in other films I've seen from him. In fact, I didn't even recognise him until I actually looked up that he was playing that role, because, quite frankly, most of the time he's got much more wild hair and is a lot more outlandish in his roles that I've seen him in before. The pacing is also on point. The production is solid, particularly when it comes to the action scenes. The score is well executed, which is a really rather nice mix of typical 70s funk and really rather nicely done orchestral movements as well. So, yeah, overall a really good balance between those two elements. The violence is also handled well. The cinematography is on point, and it is overall an engaging effort. So it gets a 4 out of 5, which is, yeah, definitely above average for these kind of films from, Italy in the 70s. Sometimes you usually get about 3.5 out of 5. But yeah, not quite as entertaining as Weapons of Death. Yes, this is a more satisfying effort in terms of its plot, characters and such, but Weapons of Death is just such an insane roller coaster ride that it's, yeah, hard to forget, and yeah, one that is hard to not recommend as well. So yeah, but nonetheless, this is still a really, really good effort and one that I enjoyed a great deal. So yeah, got the sleeve there. No reversible artwork, so we've got the same artwork on the case itself, and then the artwork carries through onto the booklet and the disc itself as well. The booklet again is a 12-page booklet, just like it was with Weapons of Death. And like I said, we get the new artwork on the front and the original on the reverse, and as you can see, the new artwork is heavily inspired by the original. So yeah, it's nice to see that they kept that going. And inside you got The Return of the Native, The Counsellor, and the Mafia film by Peter Riley, as well as shots from the film as throughout as well. So yeah, there's plenty of decent action in this. There's a really rather entertaining car chase in particular, which goes across the Golden Gate Bridge, also goes down that winding road that they used in Bullet, which has a really steep incline, and then there's numerous uses of the hills that San Francisco has as well, so plenty of stunts and jumps in that regard, although by no means as good as Bullet, but nonetheless, in terms of extras, we've got a couple of new extras here. We've got Ilka's Category, Tradition versus Modernity, a video essay by Will Webb, And then we've got a new audio commentary with filmmaker historian Steve Mitchell and historian Troy Howarth. Then not new to this release is an intro by John Baptiste Foret, who also did that for the Weapons of Death, as well as a stills gallery and original trailer as well. And yeah, we've got LPCM 2.0 mono audio with this release as well, just like with the Weapons of Death. Aspect ratio is 235:1, region free as it is in A, B, and C, and 2160p Ultra HD presentation. You've also got an Italian English choice between the soundtracks. I watched it in English, given it is mostly set in the US, although it does eventually move to Sicily. But regardless of which soundtrack you do have English subtitles that you can choose from as well. So yeah, and the 4K looks pretty good as well, to be honest. No issues at all with the sound quality or the picture quality at all there. So yeah, on the whole, a really, really good effort. Not my favourite of the two that have been released, because like I said, Weapons of Death is a far more insane and memorable effort, but this is still a really, really good one, and definitely one of my favourites from Thomas Millian in terms of the films that are similar to this that he's done, as well as Martin Balsam, who's obviously done a lot of these kind of films as well, like Confessions of a Police Captain, which we've talked about in the past via a Radiance Films release. So yeah, but this is still well worth seeking out. Although if you are only a mild fan of the genre and these kind of films, I would recommend just getting the Blu-ray. It is £9 cheaper thereabouts. So yeah, but if you want to make the leap to 4K, then obviously it's not a huge amount extra either. But all of the extras are the same. You get the same booklet, you get the same artwork and such. So yeah, the only difference is the 4K element. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen The Counsellor before, let's hear your thoughts on it. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.